This is not your NBC. This is CAN TV Channel 21, and this is the Black Star Still Rising. And I'm your host, Stephen Silver Black Butterfly Carter. I'm glad to have you here today. We got an exciting program. Good. You see this gentleman next to me? I'm going to tell you a little bit about him and tell you how he came to be on the program today and why I'm going to so much excited by having him here, but I'm going to introduce him a little bit in a minute. But I do my usual shout-outs. Usual shout-outs to our the executive director of CAN TV, and that's Darius Hillman. Couldn't do this. These other programs, the nonprofit organizations that have these programs, do it because of the insight, the foresight, the vision of Darius Hillman and what he saw to make Black Star and other nonprofit organizations a viable presence to our community out here. Got to do my normal shout-outs, and we'll wave to, you're going to help me wave?
Sure.
We're going to wave to Monty in the room, our studio producer, and we'll say something to Rosio because she's over in Studio A with the big folks, the big program. This is big Studio B, but we have the most glamorous guests on our show, okay?
Thank you.
Shout out to also our folks at the Black Star Project, and that's Brother Roundtree. These are directors at the Black Star Project. Brother Cortez, Justin, Lindsay, and my producers, Dr. Mike Washington and Ellis Coleman. But above all, got to give the ongoing shout out to the founder of the Black Star Project, and that's Philip Jackson. And his successor in keeping it going is Gloria Smith. But an interesting part, we're going to get into the details a little bit later on. One of the reasons that we have this gentleman here, I'm going to tell you his name now, but you're going to find out more. This is Samuel A. Layne III. He's a Trey.
Yes.
He's a Trey. But a 12 otherwise, right? We'll talk about that later. Okay.
Otherwise.
And the reason that he's so important today, our founder of the Black Star Project, Philip Jackson, was his karate instructor.
Yes, my Kung Fu, Tai Chi.
Can you do
instructor.
something? Can you show him do us one of the any one of the moves?
No.
Say it, give it a name, make it a Philip Jackson custom move that you knew that got you out of trouble? Anything like that?
Actually, yes. When you got grabbed by your wrist.
Okay.
Taught us how to come, just like that.
Okay.
And then you come with the tiger and go straight out.
And did you ever have to use it?
Yes.
Oh, I'm glad he taught you. That's why you're here today.
Yes, indeed.
That's why you're here today.
Indeed. Yes, indeed.
But this is the background about Brother Layne here with me today. This is now, as of a few weeks ago, my alpha brother.
Thank you.
This is my alpha brother, just made into Alpha Phi Alpha, the Xi Lambda chapter, just a few weeks, baby, neophyte in Alpha Phi Alpha. All right? Got all his brothers watching them today. But one of the things that happened during the neophyte party where the family and relatives and other brothers come out to welcome you and to give honor to you in being in Alpha Phi Alpha is when each of the brothers stood up and talked each of the neophytes. How many? 19.
19.
What do you call yourself?
Frozen Few.
Almost good as the Elegant Eight?
Yeah. Yes,
Wait,
most definitely.
Most definitely. You know who the Elegant is, right?
Yes. That's your line.
Well, that's my line, right? July 30th, 1960. 65 years, right?
Man,
okay, but
that is amazing.
The point I'm going to make is each of these gentlemen had a chance to talk about what their aim was, what their calling was, what's the term? What do we use that term? I'll come up with it, but
Mission.
What you came up with was talking about what you wanted to do and what you wanted to contribute, not only to Alpha Phi Alpha, but to the community.
Sure.
And you told us that, and I asked him, dog, I had to step back and say, who is this brother? Who is this neophyte brother that has something so special that he wants to share with us? And the term is raison d'être,
Right.
the reason for living. That's what you have and what you bring and what you're going to talk about. And what he's going to talk about is something that we're going to do a little bit something different today. Today, I'm proclaiming today, in the rest of April, and maybe a few years from now, still, this will be the Divine 9 month. The rest of April will be the Divine 9 month.
I like
But part of this is we're going to give an opportunity for the Divine 9 brothers. We're going to take care of the sisters later on, sorors later on. But the Divine 9 brothers of Alpha Phi Alpha, Ka Psi, Q Psi Phi, Phi Beta Sigma, and Iota Phi Theta. We're going to give them the opportunity to volunteer and to do some things for the community that Divine 9 Brotherhood. We might even include the Morehouse folks too. We're going to be doing some things too for the community and to take a leadership position that they have and talk about the things that are dear to them. Brother Layne, what you're going to talk about is what's dear to you. And that's bringing attention and intention, as I put it, to the mental health black males and those who the increase in black male suicide. Right. Can you give us a little bit about what you do, the organization? But we're going to talk about more for what you will contribute as a person and talking about how it affects you.
Right. So I've been at Becoming a Man program.
Oh, wait a minute. Put it.
Bam!
Okay.
Bam!
That's it. They'll remember Bam, right?
Bam,
You will too.
Bam.
Okay.
You definitely seen them around the city with their black and white T-shirts, young men in black and white T-shirts.
And it stands for what?
Becoming a Man.
Becoming a Man.
And it's funded by Youth Guidance. Been there for about close to 7 years. And
So this is no baby organization.
No, no.
And I take it you're national too. Or,
yeah, we actually we have some programs in London, England. We also have programs in Boston, Memphis. Well, not Memphis. We wanted to try and get into Memphis. Texas,
that's right. Tell them.
Dallas, Texas.
Okay.
Kansas City, Missouri, and Los Angeles, as well as Seattle. So those are, some of our hubs that we have and programs.
Can I give the audience one other thing so
Sure.
they can think about? I have you write down things. Write down some information that I'm going to give you now, and that Brother Layne is going to give you a little later on.
Sure.
Write this down because you're going to see the importance of it. Suicide and Crisis Lifeline at 988
Yes.
or 988lifeline.org, and you'll click on to the chat room.
Sure.
You'll be able to make contact with a person who is going to help you, assist you, either for yourself personally or for a family member. And right now, let me just say real quick, one of the things that you talked about, and I want to share this because you talked about, and you told me about how folks, there's a stigma
Most definitely.
around depression.
Most definitely.
I share with you that my baby nephew committed suicide. He was a Chicago police officer, and like if you read over the months, there's a number of police officers, for whatever reasons, there's been a number of suicides within the Chicago Police Department. So this is dear to me personally. And my guess is some of the guests that, some of our people watching today, have somebody they know, friend, relative, or whatever, that has committed suicide. Let me throw it back to you and talk about the importance in what you are doing as a senior counselor.
So I work with young men at Tilden High School. I've been at Curie before, but I work with young men, freshmen to seniors, and we just talk about different tenets as far as accountability, respect for womanhood, and positive goal setting, and just different tenets as well. And we try and instill confidence and allow them to have a sounding room and understanding that you kind of feel alone. Some brothers feel alone.
And
but
you
it's
told me
not,
that you've had some of those.
Yeah,
So this is
sure.
personal. Remember when
Yeah, personally with me, I've battled depression in high school and as an adult. It was one of those things where coming out of a breakup or different life-changing situations when my father passed, and
were you bullied? Was that
yeah,
one of the things
yeah.
that
As
I
a
was
child,
thinking about that.
Yeah, as a child, being fat in the '80s was
You were chubby. You're not like linebacker size like you
No,
are now.
I was chubby. I got a bad sweet tooth, so I was chubby.
Do you still have it?
Oh, it's terrible.
Okay,
it's
you can
terrible.
control it. More control.
Yeah, I'm trying to get it under control. But as a young man, I tell people, you got bullied to your face. They called you fat, and the girls like, "Oh, I just like you as a friend," and that was
that
was the worst. That was the worst.
Yeah.
So just dealing with that in grammar school and in high school, just dealing with those type of pressures definitely took a toll on me mentally. And, I questioned myself whether I wanted to be here or, continue on.
That was a big question. Do I still want to be in this life doing the things and enduring all of this?
Right.
How did you start? Did you have any mentors then to get you through in those early days? Was there any organizations around at the time?
Not at that time. I tell my guys all the time, if I had BAM, when I was growing up, I would be a totally different person because the support system. Back then, it was pretty much suck it up, or my mom was very influential, though. She very much instilled and saw some of the signs and talked to me. And then my uncle, who's an alpha man, that's why I wanted to be an alpha man, seeing his brotherhood and just being around him. He gave me a lot of life lessons. I grew up, my father was in the home, but he worked a lot. So my uncle is my second father.
Oh,
so,
we forgot to mention, you got an academic background too, University of Hartford.
Yes.
In Connecticut.
Yes, in West Hartford.
And you told me you went into
acoustics.
Acoustical engineering.
Yes.
What does acoustical engineering guy do?
So either you measure sound waves. At that time, when I was coming into it, the big thing was noise cancellation. Most people, when they think about noise cancellation, they think about headphones. Noise cancellation back then was pretty much made for factory workers and jobs, factory worker jobs to save people's hearing. So it was pretty much on the ground floor. Bose and Boston Acoustics was big then. Also, you can go into set up sound systems at stadiums, churches, and things of that nature.
But then what happened after your sophomore year?
My sophomore, I went into psychology.
Oh boy!
I didn't like.
It must have been a story behind it.
Yeah.
That you can tell?
Yeah. No,
all of it anyway.
Yeah, but for the most part, being the only child, I didn't like group projects. It was always being one of 3 black engineering students in the whole engineering school.
Wait a minute, if you didn't like group projects, how did you become a health? Because that's about group collaboration.
I learned.
I bet the hard way. With 18 other brothers ahead of you, right?
Right. We had to learn. So just dealing with that, it was a lot of microaggressions. Guys wouldn't do what they were supposed to do. And of course, I was always a leader. And I couldn't snap or be upset because I didn't want to be the angry black guy. So that was always something that I had to battle, just being, or going to class and it was just like, well, what do black people think? And it's like I'm the only black person in the whole classroom.
You probably the whole state.
Well, not in Hartford, no. But it was wild to actually have people say that they had never met a black person in real life.
Did they look for see if you had a tail?
Nah, they touched my hair a lot. they touched my hair a lot.
You was slick there.
Yeah. I had a do-rag. They was like, what is that for? And I was like, look, y'all got to get out of here.
Some of you folks out there now can identify with that. Raise your hand. You see how many people raise their hand? Okay.
Yeah, they definitely can. So I just went ahead and I always wondered about the mind and why we did things and things of that
So you
nature.
changed from acoustical engineer to
Psychology.
you're a psychologist. I better watch what I say.
Nah.
You gonna be analyzing me today? But go ahead. Come on, tell me how this road, this career path came about.
Oh, so once I graduated from college, I took case management jobs. I was a missions counselor. I was a personal trainer. I sold memberships.
You were master of many trades, not just a jack.
Yeah, I did
you
a whole
mastered
bunch
it all, right?
Yeah, worked for UPS overnight. Was a manager there. That was quite crazy. That was during COVID too. That was crazy.
Christmas season too?
Yeah, I did.
That was a big one, huh?
Oh yeah, I'll never forget that. But I was at one of my last jobs. I was a manager for Villa. They're no longer around. DTLR bought them. It's a retail clothing store, and I would see the young men coming in with their shirts, and their just attitude and carriage and aura was different, and it was positive, and they had a quiet sense of confidence.
I mean, with the emblem of
With
those shirts,
BAM,
okay.
yep. And I was like, man, who are these young men? They asked questions. They were like, excuse me, sir. Most of the guys when they came in, hey, let me get these in the size 10. They were like,
I knew you'd have some stories.
Right. They were like, hey, excuse me, sir, did you have this in the size 12? And I'm like, who are you guys? And they would come in, and I found out about them. And one of the guys at a different store worked for BAM. He was just working at the retail store to get a discount. And he got me in and got me an interview. And as they say, the rest is history. And I've been doing it. I just love it. It was one of the best things.
You led me into something, too.
Yeah.
You made me start to do research.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things, either that you told me or I got through the Pew Foundation, was about, and this one, you have to correct me, suicide rate. Now get this, suicide rate for young men 10 to 17 increased by 44%.
Yep.
Excuse me, between 2007 and 2020. That's an unbelievable statistic.
Staggering.
And is that for black men?
Young black teens, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you got an audience, and
Yes.
BAM has not an audience, but a target group that they're going after. Tell me, start to share with our audience, what are some of the signs or symptoms? Because my family did not see the signs when my nephew committed suicide. What are some of the things that you see and maybe not take into fully, but you should start to file that away? Go ahead, please.
Sure, some of the signs, and I'm glad you asked that. Signs for depression for young black men is anger. A lot of times it comes to
Depression
us
is anger?
Yes, most
Okay.
people are like, oh, they withdraw. That's definitely signs.
You say withdrawal?
Withdrawal.
Oh, withdrawal, okay.
Withdraw from, start isolating, things of that nature. But anger.
I mean, isolating, becoming a recluse? Is
Yeah,
that what you-
recluse,
okay.
yeah. Some of the younger generation does this as far as, reclusing and not being around friends or staying in their room. They might play games, but for the most part, they're just by themselves. But if you have a more sociable young man, anger, it comes to us anger, frustration, things of that nature.
You had mentioned, I think this to me too, that there's such a thing, we've heard about with soldiers coming back from war. They have
Traumatic stress disorder.
and you also said that many of the teens, the adolescents that you deal with, they have a form of post-traumatic success.
Most definitely.
And I refer to as domestic, urban post-traumatic. Talk about that and what you might see with some of those kids that you take care of, what other people should be looking for.
Sure. So a lot of these young men, they've dealt with either their friend dying, a sibling dying, possibly even a parent being affected by gun violence. I don't have the exact statistic, but a lot of these young men have PTSD levels of Iraq war veterans, as far as, just seeing and trying to get past those types of sites that they've saw.
So, like, if somebody hears a car boom, you know,
Yeah,
they start ducking.
They might
hiding,
duck, or they might duck. Certain areas or certain things said might trigger a response. You know, I had one gentleman. He really didn't trust a lot of people because his brother was killed by his baby's mother. Like, set him up
by the baby's mother.
Yes, set him up, and so he had big issues of trust, but he just like wouldn't give people his number. He was, you know, just very, very overly cautious, and it was like, you know, you do have to trust people to a certain extent.
And you'd mentioned to me, you know, we do this all the time in talking to our guests ahead of time, but he shared a few things with me. Many times, a kid in school is misdiagnosed.
Yes.
Some of it, I talk about that and what you've experienced and seen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they want to label him as aggressive, and a lot of times it's just that they don't know what's going on as far as what his home, what stresses he's been through, whether it's racism, whether it's poverty, or things of that nature. A lot of those things get misdiagnosed as ADHD, or he's just aggressive.
And teachers, if you're misdiagnosed, then you're going to put that child in a slot that he doesn't deserve to be in.
Right.
If you understood and tried to do something. What are some of the corrective things that BAM does, or some of the things that you're aware of that are being done to deal with this issue?
Just really talking to the young man, like, what's going on in your house? You know, have them stay after class because you don't want to necessarily put them on Front Street or anything like that. Ask them what's going on at home. You know, a lot of times it comes out as at one time they were doing great academically, and then they stopped doing or stopped volunteering and things of that nature, or turning in their homework. You know, hey, what's going on? I noticed this, or I noticed that.
What about drugs?
Drugs too? Oh, they start doing drugs, whether it's weed or pills, especially with Xanax, and you have that.
The over-the-counter things?
No, they take Xanax, or they buy it, and then what happens is they get it from somebody off the street, and it might be laced with fentanyl and things of that nature. So we just try and really tell them, like, you know, to be careful on that. But they're definitely self-medicating with weed at younger ages, and you know, they're trying to numb the pain that they've seen or been through.
Did you have some numbers too? You had the same numbers that I had.
I definitely had the same numbers, but I also had one.
Listen to this. Get ready to write this down.
For screening, assessment, and support services. If you come across a young man who is feeling suicidal or needs some mental help, it's 1-800.
345
9049.
9049.
Yes.
Repeat that once more.
1-800.
They don't write real fast.
That's fine. 1-800-345-9049. And give them a call, and they will schedule an appointment so somebody can come out and take the assessment and assess and see if harm for themselves or others.
I thought one of the things you mentioned too was a sign, especially maybe with adults, of giving things away, cleaning. Go talk about that.
So when a person is getting ready for suicide, they give things away. They make out of the blue random phone calls, and, you know, say, hey, I appreciate you doing this. They clean up their house. So it's check. If you see those signs, if you see those signs, you see your friend gave you a call, like out of the blue, hey, I just wanted to tell you so-and-so, and it's really nice, you know, make sure, say,
and
everything
here's what you call,
well.
Listen to this, Suicide and Crisis Lifeline at 988 or the 988lifeline.org.
Yep.
Click on the chat.
Yep.
Then you'll have some help. You'll have some help either for yourself or for that loved one that you know is going through some trauma.
Most definitely.
My new brother.
Thank you.
Thank you
Appreciate
for being with us today. All right. Can I get you back?
Most definitely.
All right.
Anytime.
All right.
Anytime.
Everybody out there, clap. clap for Brother Sam Layne,
Thank
the
you.
man.
Appreciate y'all.
Bam!